This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk, Real Talk. This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk, Real Talk, Real Talk.
All right. Welcome to yet another edition of the Real Talk podcast, the Real Talk interview style. This is our second episode of the Real Talk interview. I'm trying to build this platform like I've been doing the Real Talk podcast. So this is why it's been so sporadic since I've had my last interview. Y'all who watch, y'all know my last interview was with the amazing, the wonderful, my wife, Queen Philonda, who is the proprietor and owner of Beautiful Style. She's a style. So I encourage you to go on our YouTube channel and check it out, as the Real Talk interviews are only available on the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Real Talk. So today, I got some wonderful people in store for us to meet today. They are the hosts of the Correct Me If I'm Wrong podcast. I am excited to have them on because my boy Marques has had me on the Correct Me If I'm Wrong podcast for too many opportunities and too many times for me not to get him here. So I want to give him a feel for the Real Talk podcast first, get him on a Real Talk interview, get y'all used to him, and then we're going to get them back to get on the Real Talk podcast as well, where we can really dig into some topics. I am honored to have first of all, before I introduce him as I'm doing, look, y'all don't understand how pissed off Marques makes me. I love my brother, but he made me so mad. He started the Correct Me If I'm Wrong podcast like a year or almost a year and a half after the Real Talk podcast. And when I tell you I'm proud of him, I'm pissed off at him at the same time, because he has leapfrogged me in every conceivable capacity. with less episodes, dude's got more views, more viewers. He pushed me to up my game. The whole reason that I wanted to make sure I got a green screen and a professional mic was because I'm like, this dude is killing me. So I'm proud of my dude. First off, let me introduce the co-host of the Correct Me If I'm Wrong podcast, Mr. Marques. Say hi to folks, sir.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Hello.
And now we have his co-host as well. She is lovely. She is funny. She is awesome. She's the one on the podcast that when you hear her, you got to watch out for her, because she will keep you right for real. She don't take no mess. She is absolutely outstanding with everything she does. And I'm waiting to see when she's going to branch out on her own and get her own podcast along with the Correct Me If I'm Wrong podcast. Y'all say hi to Miss Candy. Say hi to folks, man.
Hey, y'all. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm excited for this, y'all. I'm excited for this. I have known Marques literally almost all his life. I'm old, so I can say all his life.
At least as far back as I can remember.
Grew up together, was in church together, in Sunday school together. He is one of the few people that I still keep in touch with from back in Quip. So, like a lot of folks are on my Facebook page, but I don't keep in touch with them because, I'm gone. Right. And I wanted to be gone, but that's a whole other issue altogether. So let's go ahead and get started on the Real Talk podcast interview session. So let's start it off like this. And all these questions are for both of y'all. Y'all can choose what order y'all want to answer them in. It's cool. Let's let the audience get to know y'all first, since Marques didn't send me no bio, and he probably didn't tell you, Miss Candy, I was looking for a bio. Let's start with the...
He told me.
Oh, he told you? Oh, so you just chose that same one too? Okay, I get it. I see how y'all do me. Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourselves first. Let the audience know who y'all are. Tell them a little about yourself, accomplishments and all.
I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, of course, like Jesse said, my name is Marques. I'm from Alabama, Pennsylvania. Graduated from Hopewell High School, HHS. You hear me, Candy? You hear it?
First of all, don't nobody want to hear about them Vikings. Second of all, drop your mic down. So, drop your mic. No, not the volume. Drop your mic. Your mic position down some. Okay. Yeah, because when you talk, drop the position down some. Because when you're talking, it's moving away, so you got to get right. If it's the same type of mic mine is, you want that top portion right at your mouth.
Well, with this one it's in
the middle.
Yeah, straight through.
All right.
Yeah. So I hope it's not in the way and all of that. But
There we go. There we go.
From Aliquippa, Hopewell High School. Kind of born and raised here. Left for a little bit, came back when I was real young. I'm a father of 4. Many people don't know about my youngest, but he's 5 months old now. Well, what's today? Today the 17th, 16th?
16.
16. He'll be 5 months old tomorrow. So, father of 4 from ages 17 to 5 months. 2 boys, 2 girls. Outside of that, I don't really know what to tell you guys. Very controversial on social media, like, Jesse would know. That's actually kind of how I built up my following for my podcast. I would have some controversial topics on social media, or I would comment on other people's stuff, kind of stirring the pot. So by me doing that for a few years, I was able to build up a following with that. I actually had a conversation with a guy, and he was telling me, you should start a podcast rather than just putting it all out on Facebook like that. Actually create some content. And I was like, that's a good idea. I wanted to do it in 2019 before COVID hit. It was just kind of like an idea at the time. I didn't really do much with it. But even when COVID hit, when did we start? 2021?
Yeah, I think
we started a year after COVID. So I missed a lot of opportunities. Actually, when COVID first started back in 2020. But here we are, we got the ball rolling. I chose my co-host Candoria, Leaire, because we go back a ways with a little over 20 years now.
Yeah, it's easy.
So we have a good rapport with each other. My basis really of the podcast was to get a perspective from a man's point of view and a woman's point of view. Me and Candy, we always are going back and forth about certain topics. The beauty of us doing a show together is, like she said to you earlier, she's not easily. What did you say? You didn't want to what?
Offend me.
Yeah. Okay. She's not easily offended. But I feel like I can kind of push the envelope with her some because we're such good friends. So there's things I can say to her that she's not going to be all hurt and look at me crazy about, and vice versa. She can say things to me and ask me certain questions, and I'm not going to be offended by or take offense to what it is that she's saying to me. So 46 episodes in now. I just released episode 46. What's today? Yesterday. But yeah, Jesse, I've been doing this for about 3 years now, a little over 3 years, and I only have 46 episodes. But
That's killing me. Killing me.
When I really look at the numbers, it's like it could be better. But my issue has been the consistency of it, and that's what I need to get better at. But that's pretty much what I have going on right now. I just got a regular 9 to 5. But my goal, my dream is to, if I could monetize from doing something like this, I would love to do it. But I'm not doing this for money. This is something I really enjoy doing. Like I said, I would love to monetize from it. But at this point in time right now, it's just a hobby. But so I would like to do this full time if I could. But what I'd like to really do is have my own podcast in the studio. I know a guy who he has a studio. I haven't been down to see it yet, but I've seen it, when he does his shows, and it's, it looks really nice atmosphere and all of that. So I'd like to do something like that also. But yeah, man, that's where we are, and that's like, a little insight to me a little bit.
Okay, now I'll get started on myself. I'm Candoria Cage, and I'm from Aliquippa as well. I graduated in 03, class of 03. Shout out to y'all. And I left for a little bit, went to YSU, came back. I have 3 children. Right now, I work in a regular 9 to 5, but I built circuit breakers for Navy ships and high-rise buildings, so that's pretty challenging. Every day I'm like stressed out for real, but it pays the bills. Really, I started this podcast thing because of Marques. Honestly, I am like a behind the scenes type person. I had a heart attack when he said you had to see my face today. I'm like, what? like why? I don't mind talking when you cannot see me, but when you can see me, I'm like.
And because of that, though, Jesse, because of that, I have to do. I don't know if you've ever seen Vlad TV.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how he does his interviews. He's off camera, and he has the camera on his guest. That's what I have to do to my co-host. She does.
Yeah,
but it's the opposite. I'm on camera and she's off.
Yeah, I'm more behind the scenes type person. I don't like to be in the limelight or none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's also something I forgot to say. We started out with just audio,
and I loved it.
Yep.
You're right.
I loved it.
She was like, everything was perfect when we was doing it that way. As soon as I said, "Hey, Candy, eventually we're gonna have to get on camera so people can see our faces," she was not happy with that.
I'm like, wait, what? Why? Why do we have to do that? We have listeners and everything. Just things are great the way it is, but it is what it is. So yeah, really, I'm just here to compliment him for real. Like, it was something he wanted to do. I'm like, I pushed him towards it. Like, hey, yeah, I really think you should do that. Like, I became the co-host by accident. It was like,
she was just supposed to be a guest.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, like I said, I don't like to really be in the limelight or whatever, but it is something that I do enjoy. I definitely have fun doing it. I took a little break, I guess you would say, because I had a baby. My baby is 1 now. So my life is a lot more hectic than it was because my other 2 children are a little older, 15 and 10. So to have a baby now, things are definitely a little different. So I don't know how long I'll be here with you guys today, depending on how demanding, my life is. But I am glad to be here, and I'm glad to take part in this. And I'm excited to see what you got in store for us today.
All right. I'm excited about this myself. But let me say this to you, Miss Candy. It is always funny that the people who want to be behind the scenes the most are the people who wind up in front of the camera. Because you were the people, but it's because you were the people who could be trusted the most. You won't try to overshadow Marques. You'll always try to compliment him. That's what not only makes a good dynamic and a good co-host, it makes for good on-air personalities. So my advice would be get comfortable being on camera, because if and Marques knows me, like I don't say stuff just to say stuff, right? I watch and listen to, correct me if I'm wrong, because of y'all's dynamic. I love when both y'all, not that I don't love when Marques is on by himself when he's doing his thing, but it's something different when both of y'all are on, and the way that the two of y'all operate. Once somebody catches hold to it for real, this thing's gonna skyrocket. That's why I said I'm proud of him and pissed off at him at the same time. Because it just, in, like I said, 46 episodes, and he is just. Mm-hmm. I looked at the numbers. I'm like, this is ridiculous. How is it? And I used to know, this is how petty I am, but also how much I watch. I used to know his average viewership for a month.
Really?
Because I was doing comparisons, because I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? All right, so Marques is the only dude doing a podcast that I know, like, it started from the ground. So let me see what he's doing that I'm not doing, and see how I can compare it and try to work some things out. And Marques has taken some ideas from me, because we've talked about some things, but I used to watch it. And so in just you have to understand how crazy it is in 46 episodes to have the kind of listenership and viewership you do and not already be celebrities.
Well, one thing about it is my Facebook numbers are usually pretty good. That's my biggest audience is Facebook. I do push on YouTube and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and all of that. But my biggest viewership comes from Facebook. And I honestly don't look at it as big numbers, because I'm always I'm looking at the people who are kind of big time already. So when I look at their numbers compared to mine, or even some people who aren't as big time but they still do pretty well. But on Facebook. Yeah, but
that's because you look at the folks whose name, even if they're not like super celebrities, their name has been established. Like I look at like one of my favorite podcasts right now. I just started recently watching the last year or so. Is Shits and Gigs.
Yeah, I like it.
I love them, dude. You got to watch them. they are legitimately the kind of podcast I would like to have, where just two friends are on it, shooting the breeze, talking about whatever, and just having a blast. Now it's like there's four of them that show that they're two behind the scenes friends now are also in front of the camera, Miss Candy. See,
Right.
in front of the camera, and they just have a blast. And in a short time, they have skyrocketed, but they're over in Europe. But they had a name prior to, kind of sort of, in Europe, and they just started packing it in. Kev on Stage is another one who I've watched from the ground up with his podcast. And his stuff skyrocketed, but he was already a YouTube name before he started doing podcasts. So, like, if you compare yourself to them, yeah, your numbers are small. But if you compare yourself to a lot of these other starting podcasts out that have only been doing it for a couple of years that don't have a name, your success in 46 episodes is legitimate. And, like, even if you just go back to when you was just audio doing it with Anchor and having Anchor help distribute it, like, they're like, your numbers, bro. I'm telling you, because I watched, your numbers are crazy. I've been doing this podcast. I started 5 years ago, and your numbers have trumped mine. And I mean, I've been doing video almost 5 years. Like, and I came from Columbus, Ohio, where I was doing my own radio show, and I'm still not generating the numbers that you are. So that's what I'm saying. So it's when somebody takes a hold of your numbers are already there, but somebody gets a hold of to y'all's dynamic, bruh.
Yeah, I mean,
You're hard on yourself.
He really is way too hard on himself.
Yeah, he is.
yeah, I mean, if it ever happens, 100% great. I would love that. I'm not a perfectionist with life, but when it comes to doing this, like, I want everything a certain kind of. If it's not, I don't like it.
Yeah, he
I
does.
appreciate
I don't know why, because I'm like, yo, we started recording in a car on our phone.
But that's all I was going to talk about that too. Like, the progression that we have made from, seriously, Jesse, we would sit in the car. Well, sometimes we do shows 10, 11 o'clock at night, do it, a couple hour show, you know what I mean? But yeah, everything started from just my cell phone, recording on my cell phone with Anchor, sitting in the car in front of her dad's house.
Yes.
And it just took off from there, and slowly but gradually, you know what I mean? I started getting some mics. My brother gave me some mics. Shout out to my brother Pat. He gave me a few mics. Bought a couple myself. But the big thing that I got was the Tascam Mixcast 4. That's my interface that I use. So that was definitely a game changer for me. The sound quality is a lot better. I like to do in-person podcasts. Like, this is cool, using StreamYard, stuff like that is cool. But it's more of it's a different kind of vibe when you're actually in the same room.
Absolutely.
With the people that you're doing shows with. So as much as I can, like when we would do them on the phone, like it would be nothing. Like, yo, Candy, what's up? I'm about to come through, hop in the car, we're about to do a show, or just record something. And it was cool. But now it's a little bit more difficult, especially, with the kids and all of that. And to bring my equipment to her house, or, us meet at a place to do it. It's just, things are a little different. But that's why I would like to have a studio, so everything can all be in one place and I don't have to, travel with my equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely, because me and Candy, we do have a good rapport when it comes to this. I wasn't sure how it was going to take off or how it was going to be. I just knew that we had good conversations. And I was like, man, I hope people listen, And, here we are 4 years later, and, we got a little bit of a following.
Bro, don't sell yourself short, man. Y'all have more than good conversations, bro. Y'all, the way y'all attack and the way your approach to it is wonderful. Like, for real, it is. It is. Y'all have the kind of dynamic that I honestly am striving for on my podcast. So I have two separate sets of hosts. It's myself, who's my podcast, and then I have what I call the Pastor's Crew. That's Pastor JC, Pastor J, and myself, right? We have one dynamic, and it's fun, but oftentimes preachy. I ain't gonna lie. And then there's me and my wife, and it used to be me, my wife, and Jessica, this girl Jessica, and I would call them the crazy crew. Because we would talk about anything. Like, it just reckless abandon, just talk about anything. And then we stopped using Jessica for some reasons. Like, she wasn't able to, life happened, she wasn't able to keep coming. This became me and my wife. And our dynamic is good, but I need that third because inadvertently, most of the stuff that I would talk about on the podcast with her, we've already talked about. So you kind of lose that, I don't want to say argument dynamic, but yeah, because it's something we already talked about. I already know what she's going to say. She already knows what I'm going to say, so we can't do that. So I need a third party to kind of be that buffer. But I listen, I watch y'all. It is outstanding.
That's another thing about us. We're usually pretty random. I may be like, yo, here's a topic, but a lot of times we'll have a topic. And how many times do we go completely off?
Every time. Every time.
Ends up being something. But that's what I like about it. I like the randomness of it, and it isn't. My podcast is never ever scripted. Never. When I have guests on there, I tell them, like you said, be yourself. Let your hair down, however you are, like that. That's how my audience wants to see you, and that's what I promote. Depending on the situation, my only rule really is no name dropping. Depending on what it is that you're talking about. We don't want to throw anybody under the bus or defamation or any type of stuff like that, so that's really one of the only rules I have. Like I said, depending on what the subject matter is, but it's pretty much whatever goes, man, and the randomness of it has been pretty cool. So a lot of times I never know what Candy's going to say, even though I think I know her pretty well. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that was surprising, but all right, cool.
So let's do it like this. It's for both of y'all, what is the hardest thing? No, I don't want that one because you kind of answered that one. Plus, I don't like that question for what you just said. Let's do it this way. What are some interesting things about your co-host that you found out from working with them, or just some interesting things, period, about your co-host that most people wouldn't know?
I'll lead with that one. That he's a perfectionist. He swear if you didn't know him for real, you would think he don't care about nothing. Everything is, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. But for real, he really does. So that was something that I definitely learned. Even as friends, though, for the most part, he doesn't. Everything is like he has a meh type attitude towards everything. He's never too excited, never too mad. You know what I'm saying? He's just so nonchalant. But he really is a perfectionist. And if it's not just like he wants it, he's not happy. I was surprised by that, though.
That's pretty accurate. And about Candy, what a lot of people wouldn't know is she's really introverted. Even though, like, if you was to listen to her on the show, you would not think that because from the show she seems very outgoing and easy to approach and all of that type of stuff. As far as what I've learned about her since she's been on the show, I didn't know that she had an issue with being. I know she don't really go out and be all out and on the scene and stuff like that. But I thought she's a fairly attractive, good looking woman. I never think that she would have an issue being on camera. I thought that would be you know what I mean. Everybody wants to see a pretty face on camera. No, right? So I thought that would be something that would be a no-brainer. So when she hit me with the, "Nah, I don't want to be on camera," that was a little surprising. So outside of that, being her friend for X amount of time, it's not much that I don't know or have learned.
All right. So much I can say to both of those points about both y'all, but I'll leave it alone. Because this is my audience time to know y'all. No, I lie. So yeah, Marques is absolutely perfectionist. Like he's been that way the entirety of the time I've known him. Marques is contrary to what most people probably would think, because like you said, his demeanor is kind of always meh. This is a hard-working dude. It is insane. Because he wants it just so. Mm-hmm. And if it ain't just so, I got to keep working till it's that. I'm just going to guess he has thrown away episodes or is holding on to episodes he ain't put out yet because it's not just perfect.
Yep, you know it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
even like with the reels that I do or the shorts on YouTube, people don't understand, and I don't use any other software to help me edit those or put those together. I do all of those myself.
I gotta put you on to a play because I used to be like that. I got sick of it. I'm gonna show you this website I use now for my reels.
Okay.
And you can still edit it how you want to edit it to make it a little better and whatnot. Extend some, shorten some, but it has drastically taken down the time it takes to cut a reel.
Yeah, because it'll take me about maybe an hour and a half to do 2 reels.
I was gonna say sometimes 2 or more you'll be working on one reel.
And it's because, a lot of times I may have a 2-hour episode. Now I got to go back through, listen to it again, see what parts of it that I feel like may catch my listeners' attention, and then put that snippet out before I put the episode out. But again, I want it to be a certain kind of way. If I don't edit it to where the exact point where I want it to be or the exact point where I want it to end, I feel like I have to find perfect background music to go with it. If it doesn't sound right with what's being said, I'll find one until I do. And like I said, that can take me, like Candy said, a couple hours, But it's because I just want it to be a certain kind of way. So when you see one of my reels or shorts on YouTube, just know that it took me a little bit of time, and it's exactly the way I want it. Some people might not like it, maybe not be perfect for them, but for my vision and the way that I want it to be, it's perfect to go out.
I mean, but that's the point of it, right? This is your vision. This is your stuff.
I agree.
You know what I mean? That's the realness about it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that took me a while to like really catch a hold to. Like, it is my vision, and as long as I am okay with what I put out, screw y'all. Like, I mean, I subscribe to the thought process. I'm an artist, so I'm sensitive about my stuff. But at the end of the day, nigga, I'm happy with my stuff. I don't really know. And I'm old now. Like, I done crossed over 40 now, so I care even less about folks. But my podcast even has reflected the arc of how much I just IDGAF. I just don't care no more.
I gotta jump in. Not too much on the being old at 40. Like, just not too much, because I'm slowly approaching it. I'm slowly approaching it, but I refuse to believe I'm old. You feel me?
Listen. When you cross, let me tell you, when you cross 40, whether you want to say you're old or not, your body may not even feel old, but your mind will.
I believe that.
You will absolutely reach a point of complete I don't care. And here's when it's going to happen. You're going to wind up talking to some young cat, whether it's dude or female, whatever, just talking, not even like them trying to do a relationship. You're just having a conversation. And you're going to use a reference from your childhood. And they're going to look at you like you're stupid. And you're going to get mad and not even realize why you're mad. They weren't born when this was going on, right. And you're mad because they don't know it. And it'll be at that point you realize, I am old as hell. Like, that's literally what that. Everybody I know would tell me that ahead of time, and I didn't believe it, and it had happened to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, when I think about it, Jesse, the year 2000 doesn't seem that long ago.
It doesn't.
It don't.
It doesn't.
It was 24 years ago.
Right.
And when you say it like
legal
that,
drinking
it's
age.
Man, yeah.
So, like, when I hear something like 30 years ago, I'm still in my mind for some reason thinking like the 70s. Meanwhile, it was, you know what I mean? The
70s was 40 years ago.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, more than that. I'm born in 84.
Yeah, it had to be, because I'm 43. Hold on. Yes. God, dog.
Yeah.
These moments.
Right.
This is how you'll know you're old. It's going to hit. And right now, it's like, yeah, it's all right. But when some young kid says, like, I've been watching these reels on Facebook, and these people will tell you how old a certain song is from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing pisses me off more than hearing these songs that are still young to me, and they're 30, 35 years old.
And it's called old school now. It's considered old school music.
And that's
Bro.
crazy. That is crazy. Like, no, that's not old school. Old school
Right.
to me is the music my dad listened to. That's
Motown.
old school. Yeah.
When I realized people consider Nelly old school, I was like, you know, I'm through. I'm done. I tap out.
Get Rich or Die Trying, old school.
Nigga, like DMX's Party Time, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. That song is, I think, 35 years old.
That's crazy.
I saw a reel on it yesterday. Let me make sure I'm getting the age right. Hold on.
Maybe 20, maybe 25. I think it came out in 98.
Let's see.
Talking about the song Party Up, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm sorry. Came out in 99.
99, okay.
That's crazy.
25 years ago still.
It came out when I graduated high school.
That's when I was going to the Alcatraz.
I was about to turn 15.
Nigga, thanks for making me feel even older. That you was about to turn 15 when I was graduating high school. Thanks.
Yep.
And it's even worse because y'all are still in Quip and the Quip area, right? Like when I talk to people in Quip, and I start mentioning people like Frank Morocco, and they're like, "Who? How you not know Frank Morocco? He was one of the greatest Alabama head football coaches of all time. Like, how do you not?" All they know is Mike Smianic, and I'm like, "This is crazy. This is."
Yeah.
Wait, you graduated.
I played for Morocco, yeah.
Because his last year was what, 96 was his last year?
96 championship year, and I still never understood why they got rid of him. But that's a whole nother. That still pisses me off to this day. It pissed me off for two reasons. Real talk. It pissed me off because he was a championship coach, and he promised me a starting job the next year because he saw how hard I worked, and then I lost my starting job. So yeah.
Well, they said they did the same thing to Coach Z. The way that they let go Coach Morocco is how Z got let go.
Which don't make no sense to me, but whatever.
So speaking
Do
of
some weird
coaches,
stuff.
yeah, speaking of coaches, what y'all think about Warfield taking that leave of absence?
I'm not really sure how to feel about it.
I know, me neither. Me neither.
I'm sure there's a legit reason for it. I know from what I read, he's got a lot going on, job-wise and all of that. And I know he's got kids and probably hasn't really spent that. I don't want to say that. Again, this is just my opinion. Probably wants to do more with his family, concentrate on some other things. But 3 state championships in 5-6 years. But I also believe who the acting coach is. I believe that they'll be perfectly fine with it.
Ooh, Vashawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, he'll be absolutely good at it. But like in terms of his Warfield's leave of absence, from my experience, a leave of absence usually only means one of two things: either there's illness in the person or the family, or they just want to take some time and spend with their family.
Mm-hmm.
And so either way, I'm all for it.
Right.
If you're sick or family's sick, get healthy. If you feel like you need to take some time and spend with family, do that, because at the end of the day, the job will be there whether you're there or not.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had the pleasure of interviewing him, Coach Warfield, after his second state championship. That was actually my favorite. My favorite style of podcasting is interviewing. I really like to do interviews. I like to try to pull things out of people that maybe they've ever been interviewed before, that certain questions weren't asked to them or things weren't brought to their attention. So I like to see what can I do to separate myself from people who've interviewed him already, or wrote an article about him in the paper, whatever the case may be. But that's what that's actually my favorite to do. And actually, when I did that interview, that was, I think, my second most listened to, because that was only audio when we did that, right, Kenya?
Yeah, yeah.
We weren't doing video at the time. So that's my second most listened to audio podcast that I had out, which was, I thought was pretty cool.
Shout out to Warfield.
Yeah, for sure. Really nice guy. I was really happy that he did it. He didn't know me from a can of paint. Small time podcaster. I still like to look at myself as somewhat of a journalist, a little bit, with no degree behind it. But yeah, man, I'm glad he did it. Candy was, she was on that episode as well, and I just thought it was real cool. If I could do it, I'd love to interview him again because so much has happened
Since then,
since that state championship.
look, I want to ask, hey, why are you taking a leave of absence?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I want
right into his business.
Yeah, if he would give us the politically correct answer, or would he actually go into,
What's really going on? Yeah, you never know. That's the good thing about stuff like that. You never know what you're gonna get.
Right.
So, Marcus, since that's your favorite episode, Miss Candy, what's your favorite episode?
Oh, my favorite episode.
Probably one of them freaky joints.
Why that gotta be one of my favorite episodes? I honestly don't know.
I think you did good on the colorism one.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, I usually like them all for real. There's a couple that you held back that I was also like, I don't like that one. Yeah. But for the most part, I mean, I equally enjoy them. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's just us or you are bringing other people in. I really, really, really like Nikita. She's a little older than me, and a lot of her values or a lot of her opinions, I value and I understand. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, So maybe the first one that we did with her might have been my favorite, honestly.
I wish I could remember because she's been on quite a few.
Oh yeah, but the very first one, I'm like, okay, yeah, I like her train of thought. I like the energy that she brings, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was just different aside of me or, other females that you may have on there. She kind of just has a different vibe, So
yeah, I like to call her the mom of the podcast.
Yeah, I think that one would have been my favorite, honestly.
Actually, when I did the episode I was saying I dropped yesterday, it was actually a one-on-one with me and Nikita, and it was pretty good. A little long, about 3.5 hours, but it was
my average.
Really yeah, it was really good. It was good. Good conversation.
He said it's a little long. That makes me feel bad because 3.5 is about my average podcast episode now.
If I could, man, I'd like to keep it to an hour and a half. But you get to talking, and then you look at the time, and you're like, "Yo, it's 3.5 hours have gone by," and it don't even feel like it.
Right.
Like especially Candy, the ones that we started out doing in the car. You know what I mean? We
and that one's real. And those ones could have even been longer because when we first started, we was rushing through stuff. We would have like 5 topics and one episode, if not more. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just taking our time, breaking down one, exploring that topic and moving on. We were like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, we probably could have had five podcasts on one.
Yeah, easy.
Like, my wife is she's been trying to get me down to an hour and a half. And I said, here's the problem with that. First of all, I'm a preacher, and when have you ever known a black preacher to not talk? So
we went to the church in the round.
Right. So 18 hours. People don't believe me when I tell. I'm so glad you are here. I tell folks. When I tell folks what my schedule used to be when I was a kid, they don't believe me. I'm like, so church or Sunday school would start at 9:30 because we pray at 9. Sunday school started at 9:30. Service would start at 11. Bishop would preach. Well, he'd get up about 12:30. He would preach till about 3:30, 4 o'clock. Offering would be another hour, so we wouldn't get out till about 5:30 almost. Then they had a young people's class meeting at 6 o'clock. Evening prayer started at 7. Sunday night service started at 7:30. It went until. So you can get out, depending on who was preaching. You can get out at 8:30 or you can at 1 o'clock in the morning. Just depending on who was preaching. Then Monday night was prayer and Bible band. Tuesday night was purity. Wednesday night was another prayer type service. Thursday was choir rehearsal. Friday was our evangelistic service, which was 7:30 until. And then since I was on the dance team, I was in church Saturday morning at noon having rehearsal. So my entire childhood was in the church and around. all
I
day.
didn't have to do all of
every
that.
day.
I had to do Sunday school, which would upset me. And then I tried to negotiate with my parents, like, yo, can I just go to Sunday school and go home? They're pretty much going to be talking about the same lesson, you know what I mean, in regular service. But it was able to be broken down to me to where a teenager could understand. You know what I mean? So I'm like, because I ain't gonna lie, Jesse. Once Bishop got up there, I was tuned out. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just waiting for downstairs to open so I can get some fried
Chicken.
some cheese fries.
I tell you, that would tick me off so much because halfway through his message, all I'm smelling is fried chicken. I'm like, can we?
Oh yeah, Candy, you've been to church and around a few times.
Yeah,
too,
that chicken
huh?
was good too. Yeah.
Oh. And just feel, and I'm like, I know you smell that while you preaching. Can you just? I love you, Bishop, but come on, I'm hungry.
You knew people wanted to watch the Steelers.
Oh,
Sunday
I would because my dad was the head of audio video. We'd go back in the radio room and it'd be on the TV.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be watching the service, what we're taping, and they watching the game.
So you already had some prior experience to kind of doing like technical stuff with this because you were doing.
Oh yeah,
that with the church.
because my dad started me with setting up sound system when I was 5 years old.
Really?
Like we went like. Quiet as is kept, and this is one of the things, and I have not said this publicly outside of snippets in my actual services, but I've never really gone in depth with it. This is what has pissed me off about the church and around the Church of God in Christ for decades. My father spent the vast majority of his life giving professional quality sound and video and production, from cassette tapes to mini DVs when they were a thing, to CDs and DVDs, giving professional quality product for free. At 5 years old, he and I went to almost every church in the city of Pittsburgh and set their sound system up. At 12, I remember going outside of Pittsburgh and setting up sound systems for churches. And he did it for free because Bishop would say, hey, Elder Raymond, they need their system set up. Could you go set it up? And these would be high dollar systems. The last system I set up at the church around with my dad, at the time, I want to say it was like a $500,000 sound system, the way they set it up. I'm hanging from the ceiling. You know how the speakers are dangling from the ceiling? I put them there. Unless they have moved since I put them there, I put them there.
It's been a while since I've been in there, but I do remember those speakers hanging like that on the sides.
My dad and I, on a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, started putting them up. And to get it right, get the sound right, get the angles right, because he taught me about how to get your speakers right so the sound crosses without feedback in the whole nine. How you should need to have your mic sound so that when they walk past the speaker, it doesn't feedback, like the whole nine. He showed me all that. We're doing that, and he did it for free. I'm still angry to this day about it because I'm like, you realize what you did was a business, and we could be rich right now. Like in the 80s, my dad was doing Hollywood style video productions for people's weddings. With little education, he would go to Radio Shack, and when they were selling the handheld VHS camcorders, he put 3 of them in the church. He bought a makeshift switchboard and jerry-rigged it so that it would switch to all 3 cameras and produce 7 VHS tapes. He would have his master, he would sell 5, and he would have the master copy. So the master would be the one he would never copy on ever. The master copy would be the one he would continually make copies off of until just before it started to get real bad. He'd make one more copy, throw the master copy out, have a new master copy. But before service was out, he was able to have 7 VHS tapes, 5 ready for people to purchase, and have orders ready for people like within 3 or 4 days for people's weddings.
Before service was out?
Before service was out, because he would stop when Bishop stopped. Yeah. When Bishop stopped preaching, the tapes was ready because he wasn't recording after that. Once he's done preaching, we done. We done. We ain't taping the offering. We're not taping Elder Wallace or Elder Saunders. Recap the message for an hour. We're not doing none of that. We're just gonna go ahead.
None of that.
Yeah, we ain't taping the benediction. We're not taping the 17th shout break. None of that. We want the praise and worship. We want Elder Saunders' opening invocation. We want the word. And that's it. And then he got to a point where he was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the 7 raw, or to have the 5 raw ready, the 2 that I'm keeping for myself, and the 5 raw ready for a copy, for a purchase. But if you wanted to wait, he would then edit it down so that this, what was normally about a 2.5 to 3 hour VHS tape that you would get raw, he would condense that down to a 45-minute package. And work, and like with no training. And then when he started doing DVDs, it went crazy. Like he would do for people's weddings. He was the first person I've ever seen or knew that was doing interviews of the people who were family and friends of the bride and groom. He would then put all that together. He would overlay songs underneath them talking, sometimes overlay songs underneath the actual ceremony, the whole nine, like professional quality, and got nothing for it. And never asked a dime, which also pissed me off. I was mad at him too before he died. Like, Dad, you know how much money you could have asked for this? Because I do this now, and I studied this, and I found out how much money in the 80s you could... Niggas.
So wait, they never put him in the blessing seat either?
He got the blessing seat once, and it wasn't in the blessing seat. It was anniversary. Early 90s, I want to say. He was one of the 4 people that, you know, during church anniversary they choose they gonna bless, and again, I don't know if to talk about this, but I can now, because ain't nobody who understands the church and around culture have had on my show that can really vouch for some of the stuff. I'm not upset at Bishop or nothing like that. It just is what it is. And being in a pastor's position, I understand some things better than I did then. But like the way it was done, because my family was such an outcast family. When he was blessed, or they honored him for a church anniversary, like there was almost nobody there for him. Like everybody else, they let people know ahead of time, and there were just long lines for these folk, and we're gonna bless this person just for this person. And for my dad, it was like 10 people maybe.
That's not cool.
They put it on, and because I knew how anniversary worked behind the scenes, I knew what was done for others and how they went about doing it, and didn't understand why it was never done for my dad. Like the church, they had people who would reach out to your family members and tell them to come, and they would have surprises for them and whatnot. None of that was done for my dad.
Now, if you want to, Jesse, you know, for your audience who may not know, if you want to explain to them what the blessing seat is.
The blessing seat, and it's when I get when High Praise Ministries gets to where I really like to do it. It's something I did love that Bishop did. The blessing seat was this: Bishop at random on a Sunday morning would call you up and have you sit on the altar on the seat and call it the blessing seat, because it was at that time he was going to have the entire church get together and give you an offering. Sometimes just for being you, sometimes for your contribution, sometimes because as he was praying, God led him to do it. He said, I'm gonna bless the folk that have blessed this ministry. I'm gonna bless you, and you wouldn't know it. And it would almost always wind up seeming like it would be when a bunch of people were there, and I don't know if he planned it that way or if God, I don't know how that worked, but it was always, Mother Martin, we're gonna put you in the blessed seat, or Elder Frank, we're gonna put you in, and sometimes it wouldn't even be somebody with title, it would be somebody unexpected. My boy Russell, who passed, I think he was in it twice, if memory serves correctly. Just random. I mean, he's about Marques' age.
Yeah.
So like,
I think he was maybe a year or two older than me, maybe.
Yeah, it's
close in age.
I don't know if any church has ever just randomly blessed kids before. And
yeah,
they would walk away with like $1,000 minimum.
Yeah.
As a kid.
Agreed. Right.
If you were an adult, you could clear $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 easy.
Yeah.
When the last times I came back when Bishop was alive, all I did was come back to visit. which is something rare for me because when I come home, nobody really knows I'm in town. I'm coming for a specific purpose. I'm in and I'm out. I came and I went back to church around and visited, and just for showing up, Bishop put me in the blessing. He said, you came out, I want to put you in here. I walked out with $700 just because.
Because you went to church.
Right. Just because you came to church today, here you go. That's one
pretty cool.
of those things I'll never forget. Like that and Good Shepherd's Night. The longest night in church history, but it is one of the better nights to see what church could actually be like in terms of blessing other people. He made sure on Good Shepherd's Night that other leaders would walk away with something, that their churches would honor them, and he would also find ways to honor different people within their churches. They would walk away with what they call bags of blessings, just stuff after stuff. The only problem with it was the portion of Good Shepherd's Night took place after the service. So it was during convocation on Friday night, which is always long anyway. Whoever preached would probably preach like 10:30, and then we do Good Shepherd's Night. And there was like 15 or 16 churches in the jurisdiction that would come, and all of them just here, and he would take none of it.
So wait a minute, what time is it now?
It's late.
When it started, it'd be like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Yeah.
At night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because we'd already had service. So service started at 7 o'clock. And convocation is already going to be long anyway, because you're going to have whatever guest church is going to be there. So for those who aren't familiar with Church of God in Christ culture, convocation is when all the churches in the jurisdiction, which is the region of churches that are under a particular pastor. In this case, Bishop Clark was what they call the jurisdictional prelate for the second jurisdiction of Pennsylvania. He had about 15, 16, something like that, churches under him. They would come together for state holy convocation, because there's national and there's state. National takes place in Memphis. State takes place in your state, right? So they would come together. Different speakers would be for the night, because it's a week-long service. Different speakers each night. On Friday night, he would have some speaker to speak, whomever from whatever church or whatever. And when it was your night to speak, your church did everything. So they did the praise and worship. They took up the offering. That pastor preached, and what I've usually found is 90% of the preachers, not all of them, about 90% of the preachers, because they were preaching at the church and around, they try to do it up. Like they're not preaching their normal stuff.
If I'm not mistaken, would they bring their own choirs also?
Yeah. Their own choirs will come, and the choirs will come with an A, B, C, and D selection. Everybody's trying to show out because we're at the headquarters. We seeing Bishop. We want to show out, and so whoever would preach for 2 hours, easy. Yeah. We're all in the back.
My favorite part about it, though, convocation, because I wasn't forced to go after a certain age, but when I would go, my favorite part would be I know it's going to be new girls. It's not going to be the same girls in church that I'm used to seeing every Sunday.
Facts.
We got a week of brand new girls that's coming to town. That was my favorite part.
And they were bringing their A game look, because they were looking for brand new dudes to talk to, and after a while you would see them form the cliques. So what would happen would be like Monday night, it would be everybody's churches sitting in their own sections, not assigned section, but everybody just flocked to each other, and you could see people doing this. Young kids. By Tuesday, everybody started melting together. By Wednesday, you couldn't tell who was a part of what church, and dudes were sitting trying to slide with the armor. Okay, I can't slide because Mama gonna see me, so I'm gonna have my arm. And then right around offering, folks would disappear. Some folk would be downstairs for the food. Some folk would be outside the parking lot talking. Yeah.
Well, and I'm gonna let you go ahead because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, this is what I like. This is what I like.
My favorite thing about church, well, not just church in general, but the AIM convention. I've never had so much more fun at church than I did going to AIM. I went 2 years.
Talking about state AIM or national AIM?
National AIM. First year.
I've never gone.
Oh, man.
But I did it on purpose, because some of y'all ruined it for me, and it wasn't even my mom or dad. It was just me. I'd heard, and I forget what year it was, that like 6 females got pregnant at AIM. And I was like, I am not mature enough to not get caught up in this.
Well,
My dad and mom will kill me, so nah.
The time that you're talking about, I was probably a little younger. I didn't go. My first year I went was 2002. I went to Indianapolis. That's where it was at the first
Oh,
year.
I was in college then, so
Right. The second year I went was
God, he making me old.
Yeah, Baltimore was 2003, and then the 2004 was in LA. I didn't go to that one. But I mean, what do you expect, Jesse? You know what I mean? You had young men and women, and older men and women also, in hotel rooms for a week in a major city.
Well, it's not the young folk that I expect stuff from. It's the adults. My thing was always, where was the suit? Because I've done conferences now. Like, I put together conferences and stuff now. Where were the adults supervising? Because when it would happen, it would be while church was going on.
Yeah.
Because church was forever at AIM and at Holy Convocation. Because it happened at Holy Convocation. I've never gone to National Holy Convocation either for the exact same reason.
I never went to that.
Like, these services would be forever long into the night because nobody's going nowhere because you came in town, so you ain't going to work.
Right.
So they would be forever long, all night long, and they would leave these kids in these hotel rooms unsupervised because the staff don't care.
I didn't have a supervisor not one day or in either year that I went.
And how long was it? A week.
A week, and not just a week. It's the 4th of July week.
Yep.
It's the first week of July.
So it's cracking.
Oh my God. And like I said, the very first year I went, I was 17. I was 17, about to turn 18. So you know what I mean. You know how it goes. A teenage guy. Can't even know. But you know what I mean. I'm never going to see these women ever again in my life. After this, I think I maybe went in a week. I probably went to church twice, and then
which is the average. You only had for culture. You only had two classifications of kids. You had the kids like me who were super churchy all the time, sometimes by choice, sometimes by force. And then you had the kids who were like, I'm forced to go to church, so when I don't have to, I'm gonna do normal kid stuff, and I might do a little extra to make up for all this church you keep making me go to.
It was a good time. I really enjoyed myself. My daughter went, I think in 2019 or 2018. She went when it was
I heard it tamed down since like starting 2012, I think, something like that. I started hearing that both AIM and Holy Convocation, they started cracking down on stuff, and now there's a little more supervision and whatnot. But when I was a kid,
is it every year?
Every year.
Does your mom still go, Marcus, every year?
Nah, my mom, the last time she went was, I think, the 2018 or 2019.
When your daughter went?
Yeah, Tampa, Florida. But, those are good memories that I'll always have. I'll never forget. Like I said, it was basically like a little mini vacation for real. That's pretty much what it ended up for me. I didn't do any workshops or nothing like that in the morning. I'd probably get up, about noon, be out till 6 in the morning. Next day, sleep till about 2, and do it all over again.
Because these conferences, they were church all day. Workshops in the morning, short breakfast, then some more workshops, short lunch, then some more workshops, maybe come together for dinner, then service.
Yeah.
Like, if you were supposed to be going there for church, niggas was going there for other stuff.
Shorties. That's what I was there for girls. But with that being said, my Uncle Sim, you remember my Uncle Sim, my Uncle Sim, Jesse, R.I.P. to my Uncle Sim. But he had put it in my head before I even went to AIM. He said, all right, you're going to get to AIM Sunday evening, starts on Monday. By Tuesday, Wednesday, you should have you somebody. So
that's what he told you.
That's what he told me. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, about no later than Wednesday, I need to have something bagged. So that was my goal by Wednesday for 2 years.
But that's
straight,
not abnormal. That statement's not abnormal. I've heard that. I'm not gonna draw. I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna do correct me if I'm wrong podcast type rules, even though we on the Real Talk podcast, so I won't do no names, but I can name some names. I've heard that from elders, people with clergy collar elders saying this.
Yeah, I mean they was out there giving it they was giving it away, Jesse. They was out there. This is a church convention, right?
That's what you would think. And the funny thing is, it's like everybody seemed and acted like they were shocked when women came home pregnant, when young girls came home pregnant. You gave them the keys to get pregnant. You told the dudes, bag them somebody. You told these girls, look, hey, just your only time to be free. Mama ain't watching. Go do you.
And
it's crazy. It was crazy to me.
That's what we did.
All I got to do was hear the stories, though. I've never gone to state aim. I'm sorry, never gone to national aim. Never went to national holy convocation. I went to state aim, but state aim was in the city, so I was always going home, and it was just visiting other churches in the jurisdiction, which I hated. I hated it. God, I hated state aim. State aim was horrible.
I never been.
Here was funny. In my entire life, I don't think Bishop has ever been, which is part of why I hated it. Because folks were not the state aim, nah.
Okay.
Even when it was in the round, like I don't think I've ever seen him in state aim. And like as much as Sister Kitty used to try to make sure stuff was good, these folk acted like they had no sense.
Shout out to Aunt Kitty.
Yeah, she's one of the coolest people on the face of the planet. I miss her so much, man.
Yeah, I seen her not too long ago. I think
she was just at that's time I saw, not in person. I saw her a post on Facebook. She took a picture with Wayne at was it Holy Convocation? Yeah, I think it was Holy Convocation. She walked into one of his workshops.
Yeah, she recently just moved back to the Pittsburgh area too. I think
for real?
She was living in Tennessee for a little while.
Yeah, I knew she was in Tennessee. Okay.
Yeah, she just recently moved back, from what I was told.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cause she was cool people. She was cool people. She had a way of saying, okay, we gonna do church, but we gonna do reality. Like we're not gonna make this too Bible. We're gonna put this where you're at.
Right.
But do it in the godly way. She always made church fun, so I've always appreciated her.
This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. Real Talk. This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. Real Talk. Real Talk.